Welcome to the Chief Aim podcast. This is your weekly dose of real experiences, insights, strategies, and action steps for entrepreneurs who want to build and are building something incredible. Welcome back to the Chief Aim podcast. Hope you're doing well. I'm Jason Graystone.
I'm Sebastian Bates.
And we're together for the first time since we run this podcast.
Dubai edition.
We are in Dubai, and it's bloody hot here, right?
It's just starting to,
Yeah, we've just come from a massive training session as well, so pretty pumped, pretty bit achy, but we're going to crack off now talking about following on from what we said on the last episode when we were talking about emotion versus logic, and we were saying basically, people don't think of business logically, they get emotional, right? And then we made the comment of, if you want to think about business logically, it's really just down to traffic, opt-in rates, leads, conversions, sales, upsells, and expenses.
And then basically 9 levels or 9 elements, right?
9 elements, yeah, because in the traffic you've got the paid and organic, and we're basically I thought it'd be a good idea just to start at the top, and work our way down and just share insights and what's worked for us and what hasn't worked.
So traffic is what it's all about today. Traffic for me is basically attention, right? It's holding a megaphone to your to your business, to the stories of your business, to what it is you get up to and the value you can bring. So it's all about getting attention to your business and what is the best way to do that. And I know you and I have, we previously had slightly different opinions on this, right? There's obviously organic, you can go down the organic route to get as much traffic as possible, or you can go down the paid route, paid adverts, that sort of stuff to get as much traffic as possible. So what's your opinion on that? You always focus on the organic side, right?
Yeah, the way I've always built, the first thing I did when I decided that I was going to start sharing messages and making myself known, I started really hustling on building up a YouTube and putting out my content on social media, and started talking to the cameras and all the rest of it. And what I've learned over the years is there's two ways of doing it. That you either pay for it and it's quick, or you don't pay for it and it's slower. Like, just for instance, right now, my YouTube channel is probably 7 years old, and now it's going, like you've seen it over the last, it's going like
crazy
exponential,
now.
right?
It's not linear.
It's not linear. It's not linear. But with that, there are benefits and drawbacks as well, because I think if you do it slow, you'll get more loyal following. Raving fan following is what they call it. With paid, it's a little bit more hit and miss. You can get raving fans, obviously, but it's more of you get a lot of the wrong people as well sometimes, or they just don't know you, so they haven't spent as much time with you as they have when they stumble upon your stuff and spend hours with you. So that's the pros and cons to it.
Yeah. For me, it's like what I've loved about paid advertising. So when I look at how we've expanded around the world with the Warrior Academy specifically, we've always used paid ads, and it's always been a case of, dropping pins on Facebook, that sort of stuff, being really specific about the type of person we want to see it. And of course, when you make organic content, one of my arguments is you make organic content, but then you can't really guarantee that only this demographic, this age, this people who are interested in these things. So it's more kind of spread.
Yeah.
So you might get 1,000 views on an organic video, but if I do a paid video, I get 1,000 views from the right people straight away.
Yeah.
So that's what I've loved about it. And also it's a case of you can really refine the audience more and more and more as you go.
Yeah.
So it's like, with organic, people see it, they like it, and they'll stick around, and then it naturally refines over time. With paid, it's a process that you take on yourself, right? It's an active process of refining it, and then you then segment the audience to those who engage for over 30 seconds on a video or something.
Yeah.
Then you go to the next round, do the same thing until you've got a very tuned in audience.
Yeah.
What I've noticed from really working on paid ads is it's all about video content. Like, everything's about video content, and we get millions of views every single month on our video content. We spend over £25,000 a month on paid ads, and that obviously generates a huge amount of views, and we get that from the right people as well. So there's something really to be said with that. For us, it's guaranteed that we can launch in a new city, in a new country, and before we even get there, everyone already knows us. Yeah. Everyone already likes us, everyone already trusts us, and there are people queuing up to join us, to join the business, because of what they've seen, which is what I've loved about paid.
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to be like, okay, paid is one thing, and it's if you understand paid, and digital marketing is a whole other topic. Well, it's the same topic, but a whole other podcast episode, right? Yeah. Because ultimately, you find out how much you're willing to spend on paid ads based on, the revenue you might generate within 30 days or something, right? The kind of lifetime value of a customer. But what I'm now more and more interested in, you can kind of, if you look at my socials now, it's about super high volume. So I'm doing about 8 reels a day in terms of short form content. I'm doing about 30 podcasts a month. I'm going absolutely all out on social media down the organic route right now to accompany the paid route. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I think, and we'll talk about that a bit more in a minute, but I think when it comes to logic and how to monitor this kind of stuff, I'm fascinated with trends and what's working, what's not working. A lot of people tie their, the growth to likes and things like that. To me, likes are pretty much irrelevant to business revenue. What is directly attributable to revenue is the thank yous in the comments. People that actually go out of their way to write something that is meaningful, where they've said, I've got value from this. That is a tangible thing that you can track to a lead then to revenue.
So for you, that's more important than views? It's like that's the one metric you look for?
Yeah.
It's like meaningful conversations?
Ratio of comments over, so not necessarily views. Obviously the more views, the more comments you're likely to get, but it's really not likes, not likes at all. Another thing with paid, I see a lot of people, if you've got a business with, you just mentioned lifetime customer value, if you've got a business with a reoccurring revenue model, there's something called churn rate, and not a lot of it blows me away. Many people don't really understand what churn rate is. If you've got a subscription model, understand what churn rate is, because I've seen it time and time again where people hit a ceiling and then they go and plow a load of money into Facebook ads, but they can't actually get any more customers because of the churn rate, right?
So it's a lot more expensive to go and get a new customer than it is to just look after your current customers.
Exactly.
And also it's more fun to retain the customer you've got from creating an incredible community or an incredible service than it is to try and win over a brand new customer who then has to go through the process of learning about you, trusting you, and this sort of stuff.
Even if you're keeping them for like $1 rather than $50, right?
But also the kind of hidden benefit there of really good retention is that if you've got really good retention and people are staying with you for a longer time, they are the ones who are going to refer more people. Whereas if you've just got a flow of people coming in and out, you're not going to get as many referrals, because someone's not going to likely refer you after just being with you for a few weeks or a month. But if they've been with you for a few years, all of their friends and family will know that they've been a part of it, they'll be sharing the story, and their friends will start to build trust with your company indirectly through them. So there's definitely something to be said there.
And another thing is they won't likely buy your next thing. So if you retain them, they will likely buy your next thing. And we'll talk about upsells and continuity in a later episode. But in terms of traffic, the way you get that and the way you get the comments is sharp very consistently every single day. I've spoke many times about this like 2-year idea of if you show up every day and give a real valuable piece of content every single day, there's no way you can't earn more money in your business and make a bigger difference. After 2 years, your life will be transformed.
And here's the other thing as well, like when it comes to volume, a lot of people are, they think, doing one video a day is a lot, or doing a 2 a day is a lot. I'm doing 8 a day now, and a part of me thinks that's quite a lot. But then I realise that actually, people get very familiar and into a routine of watching your stuff. You'll have some people who watch all of your stuff religiously, and you won't even know about it because they really get benefit from the insights you're bringing, or you're very relatable. And I think the important thing there is not just to talk about your business, but to show all areas of your life as well, so that you build transparency and authenticity in what you're doing. And nothing for me can give that level of insight or to build that trust and familiarity like video content. One of the things I always say, especially with the Shield guys as well, it's like a picture says 1,000 words, but a video says 1,000 pictures, right? So if you really want to build trust, you need to be focusing on video content, and that's exactly what we're doing.
But attention is really like, that's what you're going after when it comes to traffic, right? Attention. So it's like valuable, something that people want to share, something where people want to go, and say I told you so to someone else because like you're on their side. So something that's relatable, something that is trending topics, and how you can relate that to your business.
And I'm also noticing a lot of people are they're a little bit preachy with their video content, right? So they're a little bit like you should be doing this, you should be doing that. You know, instead, what I'm seeing working a lot now is people asking your opinion on something. You know, here's a really polarizing view about something which is clearly trending and it's polarizing and everyone's got very strong opinions on it.
What do you think?
What do you think?
Yeah.
Right? Sharing something, I heard this, without necessarily coming across super polarizing yourself, you're just sharing a topic that is and asking people to share their opinion.
Yeah.
And then what you can do is you can reply to that content. You can reply to those opinions. You can screenshot those, and then you can start to have this kind of public dialogue, which I think it's quite an exciting way of making the content really engaging.
Yeah, trying to create almost like a divide in the comments of a discussion, so that you got this army and this army talking in the comments. That
without being a bad guy yourself.
Without being a bad guy yourself. Without being the Andrew Tate of the world, right?
You don't need to be Andrew Tate.
No, you really don't.
But you can share an Andrew Tate video or an Andrew Tate point of view and say, you know, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
Because there are clearly pros and cons and rights and wrongs that everyone's got when it comes to any subject. And everyone's got very different points of view. And so that's exciting for people to share, especially if it's kind of triggering, because they want to express their opinion, especially if they feel quite strongly about it.
Yeah. So I'll share my best organic traffic tips, some of the things that have had transformational benefits to every one of my businesses and everything I do. One is consistent posting on short form video, on Instagram Reels at the time of this recording, Facebook Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok as well. Whether you like TikTok or not, you know, you're just getting eyeballs, and that's what this episode's about, traffic. The next thing, really powerful, podcast. You know, this is, I launched a podcast which was very relatable, very valuable, people wanted to share it. You know, I've featured on other people's podcasts and reference to my own, all these kind of things. That has got me so much traffic, but not only has it got me traffic, it's then converted into real, like, raving fan leads, which we'll talk about on the next episode. But just a podcast, it's so easy to do. Like, you can pick up your phone, record what are your thoughts, post it. Yeah. And it really doesn't take much time.
I'll typically do, I have 2 main content days a week, right? Monday and Wednesday. On Monday, I'll film myself face to cam for about 2 hours, and there'll be about 5 to 10 different topics that I'll do, and I'll do 10 to 15 minutes each. You know, I'll have a headline and a few bullet points, and I'll just go over it. And I call them deep dives. So with the Warrior Academy podcast, you can check that out, because it will show you loads of examples of deep dives where I do this. And I try and finish each of those deep dives with 3 tips. So it's actionable stuff that people can digest. 10 to 15 minute episode, that's it, and then you move on. From that, I'll then make face-to-cam raw videos. So I'll basically, you know, take that content, split it up into raw videos, and then use my phone to do raw videos as well. So I've got this balance of raw and polished, which works really well. And then on Wednesdays, I book in, I'm typically interviewed for someone else's podcast once a week, and that's typically on a Wednesday. I'll do 2 podcasts myself, where I interview someone in person for the Warrior Academy podcast. And then we do ours, you know, we do 2 back to back. So often we'll film one afternoon, we'll get a couple of podcasts done. So I think once you schedule it into your life, it's a bit like habits, right?
Yeah.
So like when I look at habits, I have this thing called layering, where I won't try and do 10 different habits at once, because you won't stick to any of them. You know, if you want to start walking early in the morning, just start walking early for 5-10 minutes until it becomes normal. Then do 20 minutes, then do 30 minutes. Cement that habit and move on to the next thing, going to bed early or whatever it is, right? And so I feel the same way about content creation. If people can get so overwhelmed by it, but really if you just focus on, you know, having one set time every week where you just generate those face-to-cams and you just build that into your routine, it's so much easier to do.
Yeah.
Also the walks I do in the mornings, right? It's so easy just to grab your phone. If you feel that you're quite creative in the morning, when you are sort of sitting there at home and you're doing face-to-cams, it can be a little bit more awkward. But when you've got a phone, you're on a walk. People, for some reason, they find it easier to talk when they're walking. I think it's something to do with you know, how the hormones are, your brain functions, whatever it is. You feel more creative.
I have all my ideas like when I walk. And stuff. Yeah.
So I think actually walking is a great hack for developing content, right? Yeah. It's like you get out there and you do it, and you know this is the way to bring in the traffic, to bring in the views, and
just don't waste time. Like what doesn't work is general fluff. Like a lot of, and there's going to be parts of whatever you're trying to say. Like you've got a result and you've overcome something, you've got something you want to share, and you're trying to connect with people who would love to overcome what you overcome. And there's going to be certain elements of that you figured out that they don't even know that they have to figure out, right? So the last thing you want to talk about is those things, because it's falling on deaf ears. It's like you're telling, like, you should be doing this, you should be doing. They don't know they should be doing that, right? If I teach wealth creation, and you know, in my program we go into purpose and mindset and all these kind of things. If I started talking about that on social media, people wouldn't get it. You have to basically talk about what they want,
It's the paracetamol,
not what they need. Exactly that.
You know what I mean?
Right?
So true.
Yeah.
So true. Like a lot of the bullying work I do with parents, you know, yes, we need, you know, the vitamin, right, is the black belt content where we go in and we change their perception of bullying, and we teach a child to love all the traits that they don't own about themselves, all this sort of stuff. But the paracetamol, the short-term stuff, is like, here are 3 tips you can do right now to prevent your child from experiencing bullying as much, or to help your child get through it, or here's how your child can not come across like a victim with these 3 body language hacks. And this sort of stuff is what gets people interested, and then you can start to deliver the
more
real
esoteric,
meat, right?
Yeah. If you're a fitness coach, like, you know, the last thing, if I'm overweight and I want a fitness coach, and someone's telling me, you've got to change all your shopping, you've got to change your habits, you've got to walk like 20,000 steps a day, I'm just going to go with the guy who says I can get you a 6-pack, honestly, because that's what I want.
Eating the food you want, sort of thing.
Although I might have to do all that once I'm in there, you know, I'm not listening out for that. I don't get it, because if I got it and I knew that, I would be doing it. I wouldn't have the problem in the first place. So that's something, particularly with coaches, live coaches. I've seen coaches in all different industries start to go too broad, and there's too much out on social media now that you just can't cut through the noise. So you just get lost, and that's not the traffic. You know, that's not the traffic you want.
No.
So
so I guess when it comes to traffic, if we were kind of to summarise it all, you've got paid, you've got organic. It's the balance of both. If you're doing paid, you can be really specific on your audience, but that one of the most important things about paid is that you constantly refine that audience all the time. And then when it comes to organic, it's being prolific. It's really having a high volume of stuff going out there. That's you know, giving that paracetamol, giving people what they want, and giving them exciting content they can engage with, so you can open up dialogues of very different opinions, which bring different people to your social channels, right?
Yeah. And just before we get, you know, we'll talk about leads in the next episode, but there's one step between traffic and leads, and that is the opt-in. So an opt-in is really easy. What you want is someone to become a lead, right, from traffic. And what I would say is structure your content. Even if it's a 60-second video or if it's a 4-minute video, have a structure. So give them a hook, you know, an insight, maybe some kind of common misconception, your thoughts on it, and then a call to action. And the call to action should be buried in every single one of your videos, even if it is, let me know what you think in the comments, right? Then they're engaging, then they're leaving comments, then they're becoming a lead. Whether you've got their email address or not, it's a very easy way for them to then give something to you, give something to your channel, because that is, you know, they're giving a comment to your channel, which is helping your channel, helping your socials. So call to action. So
and always replying to comments. I think
replying to comments.
You know, that's one of the things that I've just never done. I really made the mistake with that, I think, over the years, because I've just posted loads of content and never really engaged with people. When you engage with people, A, they come back to see more. And B, they know, like, and trust you more, and C, it gives more awareness to your profile. I think it helps with the algorithms a lot as well.
Yeah.
You know, so whenever anyone comments on your stuff, one of the best things to do, I think, is to you know, reply to them with a question, which encourages them to reply again. Yeah. You know, or tag your friends in this, all this sort of stuff, right? Do you know anyone who would disagree with this or would agree with this? Tag them in and let's have a debate.
Yeah.
The more you can kind of create a buzz around your content, the more engaging it's going to be, and basically the more kind of a following you're going to get.
Yeah. So logically in business, track how many followers you've got today, how many views, how many, you know, count the likes as well as a metric, count the comments, count everything. And next week, do it again. Show up every day, post, see what's working, what's being shared, what's being saved. Those are all clues to what people are really finding valuable. And then start measuring this stuff. Like start going, okay, well I got 100 on that post and I got 10 on that post and 100 on that post, and you can start doubling down. So I think
or you're a busy business owner, really have someone else do that for you. That's
right? What I was going to say.
Just have someone like the Shield team who do it for us, who look at all your content. Bearing in mind I do about 200 reels a month, and they'll look at all of that and they'll say, here are the top 5 reels that performed. Let's make some more content around those content pillars, right? So it could be I talk about daily habits, that was really popular. I could talk about balancing business and family life, or I could talk about a typical struggle I've got with running a business in multiple countries. Maybe those are the pillars, right? That people really lean into. So doubling down on those, it's understanding what's working when you're testing things and then returning to it and reusing it, basically.
Yeah, don't waste your time. Like no one wants to just keep doing random stuff. Yeah, we're all doing this to build a business, and that's the best way to do it. So Shield, this is sponsored by Shield. We'll run a little advert now. This is a quick shout out to the sponsor of this show, Shield, who help us deliver this podcast, along with all the social media that goes with it to help us get it out to more people, which leaves us to focus on just creating more great conversations. If you want to start, delegate, or optimize your social media or podcast, or if you want to build your very own online course or program, get in touch with the team at shieldglobal.io. So that's about it for this episode. Next week we're going to be talking about leads, and we've got a special guest, the lead
guest.
ninja.
The lead ninja. You're going to have to wait until next week to find out, though.
You're going to love that one. So I hope you found that valuable. Share any strategies and tips that you've got in the comments, please, because we're open to those as well. And until next time, take care. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you then. If you're enjoying these podcasts, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're really getting value from these, we'd really love it if you could let us know on our review page. We'll see you next week.